Perfect.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you that we can come together and that we can talk about you, God. We thank you for the blessings you put around us and people you put in our lives. Lord, we thank you for each blessing and every day that you wake us up. And I'm thankful for this group that came here to learn about you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Okay. I know I said y'all were good. Joey, Lisa, can y'all move to this third row right back here? That way it's less, and you don't have to yell as loud whenever you are responding back to me. Sweet. So, for those of you who have been with us, so this is going back to week one. Week one, what did we talk about a little bit week one?
Samuel going to go find the next king of Israel after he killed King Agag.
Who was not the king of Israel,
He was not king of Israel. King of Israel is Saul,
and still is.
and still is, and David was brought back to the kingdom, and now he was under Saul.
Time out, okay? Great introduction to week one. Week two, if you were here last week, what did we talk about last week? Isla, what you got? What's one thing?
We talked about
Okay.
like on the tip of my tongue.
On the tip of your tongue. What did David do for Saul? You don't know? Does anyone know what David did for Saul when he first met him? What do you got? He played the harp for him. So that this specific thing would leave him alone. Does anyone know what it was? We talked about it for the majority of the time.
Demons.
Yes, we talked about demons for a little bit,
The evil spirits.
but this were what?
The evil spirits.
Not necessarily evil spirits. They were we talked about the capital Spirit of God. We talked about I believe in you, 1 Samuel chapter 16, the harmful spirit from God. So not necessarily a demon, but like God trying to get Saul to turn away from his wickedness, to try to get him to start to follow him again. So he started tormenting him. He started giving him bad dreams and things like that, which if you've seen the movie David, they depict it really well in that movie, as far as him having a side of him that people don't necessarily understand as to why he started losing his mind. But he lost his mind because he was disobedient to God. He wasn't doing what God wanted him to do. And this made Samuel really sad. We see that Samuel feels like he failed the people of Israel because the king that he anointed to be the king wasn't doing a very good job. And so that's a kind of a really fast crash course over what we've talked about the last few weeks. We've gone into more depth and more conversation. If you haven't been here and you want to go back and listen to that, you can go to RVR_students on YouTube and go back and watch them. The conversation from last week is getting uploaded right now, so it should be live tomorrow. And then this conversation, I'll work on getting it uploaded tomorrow as well. I haven't worked the last 2 Thursdays because we went to camp and I got to take some comp time to spend some family time. So I would apologize, but I'm not sorry for getting to spend time with my family. It was great. So if you've got your Bibles or you have one of our Bibles, you can open up to 1 Samuel chapter 17. That's where we're going to be today. 1 Samuel chapter 17. We're going to be talking about arguably the most famous story in the Bible. Any guesses as to what that is? David and Goliath.
Good job, good job.
It's a story that we've all read if you've been in Sunday school, probably several times. And if you haven't been in Sunday school, odds are you've watched a movie review and they've said, like if it's an underdog story, they'll say it's a real David and Goliath kind of film. Right? It's just like no way, no chance, no shot that you're going to come out ahead of it, and somehow you do. Rocky is a really good story of this. Modern day Rocky would be Real Steel. That's still not that modern. Any of y'all seen Real Steel?
Mm-hmm.
The fighting robots? with Adam. Yeah. You know, I don't. The way that you said yes, it feels like you're pulling my leg.
He's the kid
No,
that
not a
ran
dog.
the robot.
No, that's a different.
So,
No, I know what
whenever
you're
they was
talking
in the boxing ring at the end of the movie, whenever they have the motion on it, that's him.
Hugh Jackman, shadow boxing with Adam the robot.
Never heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
I've not even, I know who Hugh Jackman is, but that's because of Broadway.
Yeah, he's not singing in this one.
Lame.
It's actually really good
I'll watch
since he
it.
doesn't sing. It's great. So, real David and Goliath story. Let me just start by asking you a group for you to get to talk in your group about, a question for your group to get to talk about for a little bit. Here's a question for y'all to talk amongst your groups. We're not going to pick on y'all and make you tell all of your stories out loud, but we may call on a couple of you to talk about it a little bit. But what's a moment or circumstance in your life that caused a lot of fear? So y'all can talk in your groups for a second. What's something that just made you super afraid? What's the moment in your life you've been the most scared? We're in 1 Samuel 17, and the question that they're asking is, when in your life were you the most scared? You're just talking in your groups. So are y'all cool with being a group? You're fine with that? Okay. Do we need another minute?
Ronnie doesn't get afraid.
I didn't get scared.
Say that.
You should have seen her face when she was drowning in whitewater rafting last year.
Yeah.
Where are you drowning?
Oh, when I got kicked off our raft and no one realized I was off the raft and I was
She was under the raft for part of it.
Oh, it's okay. I might be wise about who I choose next time because Bradley was the only one who realized I was gone.
Exactly.
Rude.
Up shore while you have a life jacket on and everybody.
Under a raft, you got no chance. I don't know how to swim if I'm stuck under something.
I feel like we answered the question. We got a chance to answer it.
Yes.
Okay. How many of you had to do with like something scared you? Like something, a situation, like a person or something. Like a physical thing that you could see, touch, feel, taste, something like that that scared you the most in your life. How many of you it was the idea of something that was the most scared you've ever been in your life? Both and? That's fair. Like thinking about something that was the most scared you've ever been in your life. Where it wasn't the actual, so like, I won't make y'all tell your stories, but I'll tell you mine. Fair enough? That way, I don't know, I don't want to single anyone out. If a couple of you are willing to share, then we can do that. But the most scared I've ever been in my life, I was in the 5th grade. At this point, I had been snow skiing since I was 3 years old. So 5th grade to 3 years old, it's 3 to 10, right? You're 10 years old? 10? 11? So 8 years of my life, snow skiing. My family and I would go so often that like it wasn't uncommon for like me, my brother, my dad, and my mom to say, this is the trail that we're taking. If you get behind, wait right here and we'll all meet up. And we would just take off racing. And if you were last, you were like, you got left if you were last.
At 11?
At 11 years old.
No.
And so this was not uncommon. We were very comfortable with skiing. This wasn't a new concept or anything like that. Like I'd spent 8 years doing this and it wasn't just like once per year. It was like 6 times per year. It was a blessing to get to go do that. We had a family cabin up there. We had ski passes and every 3-day weekend we were gone. Spring break gone, Christmas gone, every chance we got we were gone. So I was comfortable skiing. I wasn't scared at all on the slopes. And Angel Fire didn't have a lot of snow that year. And so it was super icy in this one section, and I didn't see it. And it was a part of the curve, or a part of the trail, it was like a really sharp turn. But it comes off of a like dead nosedive, steep, and we're racing. So I'm going as fast as I can, but I'm the smallest one in my family, and if any of you understand physics, like mass matters whenever you're traveling fast. Inertia is a great thing, and I had the least amount of inertia in my family, and so like I would ski down the mountain tucked up in a ball like this to try to stay up with everyone, because that's just what I had to do. I was fearless. I hit that patch of ice and my skis come out from underneath me and I start to slide. And at the other end of this 90-degree turn is just the face of the mountain, like drop off the cliff. And my parents, my brother are all in front of me, and I am a scared little 5th grade boy at this point. Because my skis come out from underneath me, they fall off the mountain in front of me, and the only thing that stopped me from sliding off the mountain was my pole, my ski pole. And so I stuck it into the ice as hard as I could, and it ended up catching me just enough that my glove was up on the trail, that if people would drive, like, not driving, but skiing by would slow down enough, they would see my glove. And I sat there for what felt like 30 minutes screaming and asking for help. It probably wasn't that long, but in my head, I'm there for 30 minutes screaming, and no one's stopping. Everyone just keeps going. No one can hear me. They've all got their earbuds in or talking and whatever. And like, you're on a mountain. It's not like a hollowed out room where you say, hey, and it echoes through the room. It's like an abyss where I'm screaming as loud as I can and no one seems to be hearing me. I'm there for an eternity, and finally a ski patrol comes by. He stops and sticks his hand down and pulls me up. And I'm like dehydrated from the amount of tears that I've cried. He gets me on the mountain and I just puke because I was so scared. Like, I was convinced I was going to die that day. That's when I was most scared of my life.
That's terrifying. That's why you don't live your 11 on.
Next thing you know, I finally get my skis back on, and my dad comes back down the trail. So my mom and my brother had stopped at the trailhead, and my dad was like, I've got to go find him. But there's no way to just walk back up the trail. Like, you've got to go down the mountain, get on the ski lift, and go back up to get to where we were. So it's a 30-minute loop before my parents realized, like, we found him. And that's if they just kept skiing and didn't stop and wait for me and try to figure out where I was or anything. But they said they stopped for like 5 minutes, and when I didn't show up, my dad just took off down the mountain as fast as he could to try to get me. And so I was hanging off the side of a mountain for probably 5 to 10 minutes, but for me, it was an eternity. So that's when I was the most scared in my life. Anyone else? What do you got? No one? Totally fine. Not gonna make you share your story. Ready for another group question? What'd you say? What's so funny?
Madison said you explaining to us you guys go night diving, night scuba diving in the dark. That's the most scared Madison's ever been.
That you were the most scared in your life thinking about night diving.
About that, yeah.
I told her the story of it last night. They were all like, why would you sign up?
It was awesome.
I was pretty scared, but that's not the most scared I've been in my life. I did think it was fun last time. So I got stung by a jellyfish. It was a great time.
Ready for your next question? Okay. When you're confronted with an unwinnable situation, what looks to be an unwinnable situation is your natural reaction to fight or flight. What do you got? Y'all talk in your groups for a second, think through that. When you're in an unwinnable situation, is your natural reaction to fight or flight?
I'm flying away as fast as I can.
Oh, that's hard. Just like if it's a situation. It's like
Fight or flight?
what kind of situation? What kind of situation?
Y'all talk through it.
What if it's like a okay, if it's I'm just like if it's a cease that's gonna be bad. If it's like it wasn't true.
Oh, no. I'm gone. Into the next stage.
Still need a
Come to
minute?
your house. One time Tammy Little told me there was a snake in her house. I said, "Did you find it?" She goes, "No, I couldn't find it." I would never sleep. And I would burn it down. I would leave so fast. It just didn't, I would don't want to sleep in the house. I'm burning the thing down. Absolutely.
A really great way to know if you're fight or flight is the last time that someone like popped around a corner and scared you. Did you try to punch them or did you just run away?
I tried to.
I just standing there.
Freeze. There's a third option.
Okay. Like Mr. did it. Like these the after yeah,
First reaction. Is it to run away or to fight back?
if it's my brother,
Alright. How many of you would say that your initial reaction is fight? Golly, we got a lot of punching. How many of y'all's flight? How many of y'all's freeze? Freeze?
mine's flying.
Like you get really scared and you just like, and you don't know what to do. You just stop everything. Your brain stops functioning. There's no fight, no flight, just possum. You're there.
Play dead.
Fight or flight? Okay. Why are we asking those two questions to get us started tonight? To test your faith? Maybe? What do you think that has to do with the story we're talking about? How did David feel? Right?
How to
Like-
avoid things?
How what?
How to avoid things?
How to avoid things? Maybe. If something you fear is something that's avoidable, then yeah, how to avoid things. That could be a lesson in there. 100% how David felt though. Right? So let me paint a picture for you. Goliath stands over 9 foot tall. His armor made him appear to be an invincible foe. And perhaps we've faced similar Goliaths in our lives. Things that feel like they are immovable. Things that feel like they're unwinnable. Things that are too big that you cannot conquer them. But at the end of the day, David understood that it was not David fighting Goliath. What did David believe about the fight between him and Goliath? Don't overthink it. That not necessarily he could win, that God could win. David knew the fight between David and Goliath was not between David and Goliath. He knew that the fight between David and Goliath was between God and protecting his people, knowing that he was faithful through it all. So let's pick up right there, 1 Samuel chapter 17, verses 1 through 11. And Avery's going to kickstart us off. Avery, you got it.
I'm not scared to lose no.
Go ahead, Avery.
Wait, what am I reading?
Verse 1 through 11. It's so many. It's a whole 11 team.
The Philistines gathered their forces for war as Soka with Judah and camped between Soka and Ezekiah and Ephes Daman. See, I can't read.
You're doing great.
Saul and the men of Israel gathered and camped in the valley of Elah. Then they lined up in the battle formation to face the Philistines. The Philistines were standing on one hill, and the Israelites were standing on the other hill, with the ravine between them. The champion named Goliath from Gath came out from the Philistines' camp. He was 9 feet 9 inches tall, and wore a bronze helmet and bronze scale armor that weighed 125 pounds. There were bronze armor on his shins, and bronze javelin was slung between his shoulders. His spear shaft was like a weaver's beam, and the iron point of his spear weighed 15 pounds. In addition, a shield barrier was walking in front of him. He stood and shouted to the Israelite battle formations, "Why do you come out to line up in the battle formation?" He asked them, Am I not
wins in a fight against me and kills me, we will be your servants. But if I win against him and kill him, then you will be our servants and serve us. Then the Philistines said, I defy the ranks of Israel today. Send me a man so we can fight each other. When Saul and all Israel heard these words from the Philistines, they lost their courage and were terrified.
A 9-foot tall guy starts telling me, come out here and fight me. He's a giant of a man. He's screaming out these things. And something that we see that stands out in this text is the Philistines are on one mountain, the Israelites are on another mountain, and there's a valley in between them. And they didn't have Bluetooth speakers back then with microphones to sit there and stand and yell. But what they did was go to a natural amphitheater to where like you could stand on a hill and just start screaming and the other side of it would hear you because of the way that this valley works, the way that sound travels. If you've ever seen the play Texas down at the Palo Duro Canyon, like sound travels through the amphitheater and the terrain is actually pretty similar to the Palo Duro Canyon there. Don't picture this like luscious forest where you're snow skiing and you fall down and there's trees everywhere so no one can hear you. Like it's a barren land with hard ground so that when you yell, people can hear you for across the way. It's like standing in a pasture and screaming as loud as you can. On the other side of the pasture, you can still hear them. But there's a valley that carries the sound even further. There are places in this world where there's these things called hills. We don't have very many of them in the Panhandle, Texas. I don't know if y'all have ever seen it, but it goes like this. It's this crazy concept, right? Crazy. But this is just the setting that they're in. And Goliath is screaming out that he is going to kill whoever comes out against him. Why do they want this to be a one-on-one battle? This is fair? You think that's fair? Zoe versus Goliath. Is that a fair fight?
No, but
No?
it's like one. It'd be like 1 versus like 10. That's not fair.
That's not fair either. No, 100%. Different reason than that, though. Why do they want this to be a one-on-one fight? Not Lane. Kylie, what do you got? No, Zoe, sorry. I'm changing to Zoe.
So they can have servants.
So they would have servants. Kylie, you want to expand on that?
I was basically just gonna say like to show like how much strength he has like from God.
To show how much strength Goliath has? Or to show how much strength? I'm sorry. The last 2 words of that, to show how much strength he has for, and I didn't hear that, the last part.
From God.
From God.
Yeah.
So you're saying the Israelites want this to be a one-on-one battle so that they can show off God's strength.
Not to like show it off, but to like show that it's there. Like
I think you're on the right track, but it's the other way around. Like the Philistines want it to be a one-on-one fight for 2 reasons. One, there is not one person strong enough to beat Goliath. Like statistically speaking, their champion is the greatest champion in the world. Size, strength, all the things. And they want to fight so that they can show off how strong their strongest guy is, but also to protect the Israelites from being killed because they want servants. They want slaves. If you're going to take over a land, you want the men to be alive so that they can build your infrastructure. They can build houses, they can take care of farms, they can do all of that. And so the Philistines are like, we don't want to kill y'all. We just want to kill one of you. Because there's no way that you have a guy that is big enough and bad enough to beat Goliath. We talked about it a few weeks ago about how old is David at this point. Y'all remember?
12 to 14.
He's 12 to 14 years old. Shepherds taking care of their flock. If you're a shepherd boy taking care of a flock, odds are you have not yet come into manhood. So you would be in 12 to 14 years old. They mark manhood with the beginning of puberty. That's just when Jewish culture does it. Not trying to make a statement or make a claim, anything like that. That's when Jewish culture believes that. And so if David's taking care of the sheep, he's the shepherd, he has not yet entered into puberty. And he is in charge of taking care of the sheep. And he walks up and sees Goliath saying these things, hearing the echoes of what he said in the past. I defy the ranks of Israel this day. I defy the ranks of Israel this day. Who's in charge of Israel?
Saul.
Who's in charge of Saul? God. So when Goliath is standing there saying, I defy the ranks of Israel this day, what is he saying?
He defies God. Well, that's pretty.
He defies God. He's saying, not only am I bigger and badder than every man out there, I'm bigger and badder than your God. Your God cannot beat me. How do you think that makes God feel?
Mad.
Angry, mad, disappointed? How do you think it would make God feel to know that there are, at this point, thousands of Israelites standing there waiting for battle, and they hear him say this, and they do nothing? How do you think he feels looking at his people doing nothing, scared? Disappointed, right? Probably how Samuel felt whenever he knew that Saul had betrayed the king, betrayed the throne, betrayed God. He started doing things his own way. He started not looking after what God wanted him to do. And so let's continue reading. We're going to skip down to verse 20 through 26, but verse 12 through 19, that just tells us about the nature and character of David. The things that we already know from 1 Samuel 16 that we've talked about in the past. And so we're going to jump down to 20, verse 26. Don't worry, Avery, I'll read this really long passage so you can read the next one after. We're going to start 19, sorry. 19. Now Saul and they and all the men of Israel were in the valley of Elah, fighting with the Philistines. And David rose early in the morning and left the sheep with the keeper, and he took the provisions and he went. And Jesse had commanded him, and he came to the encampment as a host was going out to the battle line, shouting the war cry. And Israel and the Philistines drew up for battle, army against army. And David left the things in charge of the keeper of the baggage and ran to the ranks and went and greeted his brothers. As he talked with them, behold, the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, he came out of the ranks of Philistine, and he spoke the same words as before, and David heard him. All the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him, and were much afraid. And the men of Israel said, how can you have seen this man who was to come up? Surely he has come up to defy Israel. And the king of the enrich of the man who kills him with greater riches, and will give him his daughter and make his father's house free in Israel. And David said to the men who stood by him, David looks at the people who have heard Goliath say these things over and over and over again, and David finally says, what shall be done for the man who kills this Philistine and takes away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? We're going to keep going. And the people answered him in the same way, so shall it be done to the man who kills him. So he's saying all of this stuff about, he starts asking these questions about what happens to the guy that kills Goliath. What's to be done with him? Why is it so important that David described the army of Saul as belonging to the living God? And do you think David said this out loud, not only to remind the soldiers, but also himself? Y'all talk in your groups for a second. I'm going to say the question one more time. Why is it so important that David described the army of Saul, the Israelite army, as belonging to the living God? And do you think David said this out loud, not only to remind the soldiers, but also himself? So two-part question. I want it one more time? Okay, one more time. Why is it so important that David described the army of Saul as belonging to the living God? Do you think that David said this out loud, not only to remind the soldiers, but also himself? If you're looking for that passage, it's verse 26. It's in verse 26 where he says the armies of the living God. I'm so sorry, what? The first question. Why is it important that David described the army of Saul as belonging to the living God? Second part. Do you think David said this out loud, not only to remind the soldiers, but also himself? Fair. All right, we ready? Here's the thing, if we haven't fully thought out our answer, that's okay. We can do that in our conversation together. Deal? Okay. Why is it so important that David described Saul's army as the army of the living God? What do you got? Who wants to go? Keely, what did y'all come up with? Still thinking through it? Okay, totally fair. Madison? Full thought for it? Okay. Does anyone think they have a full thought for it? For that question? Right here? Okay, I'm going to take a shot in the dark really quick. Hadley? Sophie? Hadley? Sophie?
Which one are you?
When y'all are sitting next to each other, I'm getting better at telling. It's less of a guess. When y'all are not together, it is 100% a shot in the dark. I'm just going to be honest.
You can tell which one.
What did y'all's group come up with for the first answer? What? You didn't understand the first question. Totally fine. Okay.
This is why I said I should.
Lanny, what'd you get? Ooh, she said that it's so important because they need to be reminded that they're not underneath a false God. They're underneath the true God. Tristan?
It's important because David's telling them that you guys are being cowards. You guys need to man up. You are of God. You are God's people.
David's telling them, you cowards, man up. We have the real God on our side. Why are they saying the real God or the living God? Shot in the dark. Because people idolize other people. There are people on this earth that people think are gods that aren't actually gods. There are people on this earth that people, okay. There are false gods that are people that people think are gods. I'm saying this even more confusing now.
Yeah, okay, so like there are people on this earth that believe that there are gods that are also on this earth that are other human beings
Okay.
that aren't our gods.
And that was less confusing than how I said it. I'm tracking with you, but that felt just like equally as confusing.
Was that more direct than what he was trying to
It's
say?
Chisholm.
No, that's a good answer. I'm agreeing
Ask
with you
Chisholm.
wholeheartedly.
Chisholm will know.
Chisholm, why is it so important that that David describes Saul's army as the army of the one living God? I don't know. That's a fair point. You don't know where we're at in the story, that's totally fine. 1 Samuel 17. We'll make it. We'll figure it out. We hit the nail on the head with both of those answers. Those were both really good answers. I'm giving you a hard time, but it's a good answer. It's just so wordy. I understand what you're describing.
How do you say that in less of a wordy way?
There are false gods that get worshipped every day. And David is saying that we serve the army of the one living God.
That was more words than we just said.
But it's one thought.
It's not the amount of words that's confusing. It's the amount of times that you're saying gods and things.
This is why it's important that we realize there's one God.
Yes. Which is what she's saying.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Oh, now he's speaking in tongues.
Our Lord, the God,
What
our
she
Lord
said
is one.
is very accurate.
What you said is spot on. I'm trying to come up with a way to say it in less words and it's not working. I give up. I concede. David's saying, guys, we have the living God on our side. Why are we not pushing back the gates of hell?
Well, also living.
The living, true. We have the one true God, the one living God. It's synonymous. They're synonyms. There we go. At the end of the day, the answer to the second half of this question, I already heard Miss Gabby say it. Do you think David is saying this to encourage the soldiers and also himself? And she said it right off the bat. What do you think? Yes. David's trying to encourage everyone that is there. He's saying our God is faithful, our God is good, our God is true. Why are we acting like he's not? We're going against the Philistines that worship a dude that is half of his body is a fish, the other half is a human. His name is Dagon. That's the God of the Philistines. That's their main God. But guess how many other gods they have? Any guesses? 5? That's a good guess. 16? That's a good guess. 12? That's a good guess.
How many gods they worship? It's a lot.
How many gods do the Philistines have? Any guesses? What? 982. We're on the right track. Yeah, way too high, but right track. They have confirmed over 100 gods. So it could be 900. I don't know. It could be 108. They have over 100 gods that they worship. Because the way that the Philistines worked was whenever they would conquer a people, they would add that god. If they saw, like if people had good farmland and they conquered a people and they said, hey, you yield a good crop. Who's the god of harvest? And they would say their god and they would go, yeah, we like that god. We're going to add him to our list of gods. They were pagan. So they worshipped many gods from many different cultures, many different religion and cultural backgrounds. There were some instances where they probably had 4 different gods or goddesses of fertility. What you got? They conquered over 100 people. Technically, no. I get what you're saying. So, like, say you conquer, for lack of better, Greece. The Greek mythology, right? Zeus, Hades, Poseidon, all of those different gods. The Philistines conquer Greece in this hypothetical situation. And they would go, hey, we actually noticed that your people are doing pretty well. Who's in charge of your gods? And they would say, Zeus. And they'd say, okay, we like Zeus. And whenever your people are on their boats, they seem to make it to their destination. So who's the god of the sea? And They would say Poseidon, and they would say, okay, we like him, we're keeping him. And they would go, but like your people are dying way too young, so like who's the god of death? And they would say Hades, and they would say, yeah, we don't want to worship that god, because your people are dying too soon. So we're going to kick him to the curb. So we're going to add Zeus and Poseidon, but kick Hades out, and add Zeus and Poseidon to our list of gods. But there would be some people that they wouldn't take any gods from, because they weren't doing well. Does that make sense? So it's like a really loose number. And if you want to have a really fun historical deep dive into ancient cultures and civilizations, this is what I do in my free time. And the Philistines are a crazy group to do a cultural deep dive on. I can already tell this is right up Kylie Mendoza's alley. She's so excited. You want me to talk about it for a second? No, I'm kidding. I'm seeing you shaking your head because it doesn't seem like it's your job. There's a really cool story about the Sea People. And the Sea People end up being a collection of people who get kicked out of nations, and they end up forming their own people called the Philistines, is a crash course. But these are like the biggest and baddest soldiers from all of those people that were doing bad things. They add them to a collection, they go into land, and they start conquering cities in the name of Egypt. Really confusing now. Right? A little confusing?
Very.
So the Philistines are essentially a battering ram of Egypt, trying to keep people away from Egypt, but also grow their own nation. So that's why they're going after Israel, because Israel's right next to Egypt. They're saying, Israel, you don't come to Egypt? Actually, better yet, we'll just take over Israel. That's why this fight is happening. Okay? Some background for you that you didn't ask for. But I get excited about it. Sorry. Verse 33 through 40. Verse 33 through 40. Any volunteers?
I'm looking at this.
You just like talking. I didn't know if you wanted to read it.
I will.
Zoe, you got it? Okay. Alicia, you got it. Oh, didn't like how that one turned out. Alicia, you got it? It's okay? You don't? Okay. It's okay. Avery's already got it.
Yeah. Wait, what am I reading?
33 through 40.
But Saul replied, "You can't go fight this Philistine. You're just a youth, and he's been a warrior since he was young." David answered Saul, "Your servant has been tending his father's sheep. Whenever a lion or a bear came and carried off a lamb from the flock, I went after it, struck it down, and rescued the lamb from its mouth. If it reared up against me, I would grab it by its fur, strike it down, and kill it. Your servant has killed lions and bears. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, for he has defied the armies of the living God." Then David said, "The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of the Philistine." Saul said to David, "Go, and may the Lord be with you." Then Saul had his own military clothes put on David. He put a bronze helmet on David's head, and had him put on armor. David strapped his sword over the military clothes and tried to walk, but he was not used to them. "I can't walk in these," David said to Saul. "I am not used to them." So David took them off. Instead, he took his staff in his hand and chose 5 smooth stones from the weighty and put them in the pouch. Put them in the pouch and in his shepherd's bag. Then, with the sling in his hand, he approached the Philistine.
Ooh. Feel tension rising? Listen. David's about to go take care of some business, but before we get to there, what do you think we can take away from David trying to put on Saul's armor? Y'all talk in your groups for a minute. What do you think we can take away from David trying to put on Saul's armor? If you need the reference for it, look at verse 38 through 39. 38 and 39. What can we take away from David trying to put on Saul's armor? Y'all got a few minutes to talk about that? I believe in you. Go find one. what can we learn from David or from Saul trying to put David in his armor? Have an answer? Have an idea? Not yet? Okay. Totally fair. Someone I haven't heard from yet. Any guesses? What can we learn? What can you learn from Saul trying to put David in his armor? You have an answer, Miss Kathy? What do you have?
I have an idea.
An idea.
So Saul's armor represents like responsibility and trying to put David in his responsibility, trying not to do what Saul was like. So he's given his responsibility for his armor to David.
This is a really good idea.
Is it so long?
Is it
No,
so
it's
long?
not so wrong.
So wrong? No.
Okay.
So she's saying that like Saul is trying to put David in his responsibility. He's trying to put on his armor so that David has to bear the responsibility of Saul. Ultimately, who is the champion of Israel supposed to be? The king, which is Saul. We all said the right answer, we just went and said it different ways. Correct. The champion of Israel is supposed to be Saul. He's supposed to be the fiercest warrior, the mightiest man, the people leading them into the charge. So I think part of Saul putting David in his armor is so that it might have somewhat of a resemblance of Saul going out there to fight. He's trying to put his responsibility on David and still be able to claim some of the victory. Right? But what does David do? He takes it off. What are some other answers we got as to why do you think David's in Saul's armor? What can we learn from that part of the story? What do you got, Zoe?
That we don't need other people's advantages to win our own battles.
We don't need other people's advantages to win our own battles. Yes, you're on the right track. I think yes, that's correct. And yes, you can get that from the story. There's one step further that I would take it. But I want to see if we get there. I like it. That's a good answer. What do y'all got? I thought you were putting your hand up because you had something. If you don't have anything, that's okay. Okay. Tristan, what did y'all come up with? Okay, Chisholm, what did y'all come up with?
Yes. Tristan said that he thought that it was because he's too young to bear the armor of the kingdom.
Is why he takes it off. He's too young to bear. It physically doesn't fit him. If I go grab my football helmet that I wore my senior year of high school and I stick it on Teal's head, is it going to fit? Is it going to protect her at all? If I put that helmet on and then hit her as hard as I can in the head, is it actually going to protect her? Or is it probably going to do more harm than good?
More harm than good.
Right? If I tell her to start looking around and try to duck the punch I'm going to throw at her, is she going to be able to see me punching her?
No, because the helmet's gonna be wiggling way
The
too
helmet's
much.
too big. You turn your head and the helmet doesn't move. It's too big. Do we need to go do this as an experiment really quick?
Put it on, put it
No.
on
Do
Bowen.
it with me.
I'm
Just
not going
watch,
to hit anymore.
just watch Bowen wear it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, how many of you have seen Bobblehead Bowen walking around the church and just hitting? He just hits people.
And that cowboy hat too.
Well, that one actually fits him.
I stacked his helmet and his helmet helped us.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
He puts my helmet on and tries to walk around the church. And if you pop him in the back of the head, and I know this because I do it because it's funny, I'll hit Bowen in the back of the head, and his immediate reaction is, and he headbutts the ground. He can't move in it. So what happens if David goes out to fight Goliath in Saul's armor? He's not going to win. He can't move. He can't fight. He can't see. How many of you, we have enough of a different crowd this week. How many of you have seen the movie David?
Only 1,000.
Okay. They put to paint the picture for those of you that haven't, they start putting the armor of Saul on David in this movie. And they start looking into the armor to try and see David, and they don't even realize that he stepped out of the armor. That's how big this armor is compared to David, right? And that's a movie depiction. They put a little Hollywood in it. I'm not that much bigger than most of the 12 to 14-year-olds in here that you wouldn't see them get out of armor that I was wearing if I was wearing it, right? Or if they were wearing armor that fit me. I'm not, right? So they Hollywooded up a little bit, but the moral of the story is this armor wasn't made for David to wear. Man, I think a really big lesson that we can take away from the story of just the armor in and of itself is you can't step into battle carrying someone else's weapons. Like what works for me might not work for you. I heard a pastor say that like the way that I'm preaching isn't how you should be preaching when you get home. You can take parts of it and teach people parts of it, but at the end of the day, it needs to be your relationship with God that you're talking about, not my relationship with God. I think something we have to understand is even starting as just coming into 6th grade, like, welcome to River students. Your faith is your own. Your faith is not your mom and dad. For some of you, that's a breath of fresh air. For some of you, that might be kind of scary because you have some rock star parents. But it doesn't matter across the room. Your faith is your own. The armor that your parents wear isn't made to fit you. You're made to have your own relationship with Jesus. If you're ever going to step into battle, you need to understand that what good people may be trying to put on you isn't going to protect you. It may limit you, and God is saying, I'm calling you to something bigger, like he is for David. So instead of wearing all of this armor, what does David do? He takes it off, and what does he grab?
Slingshot.
He grabs a slingshot, he grabs 5 stones, and he grabs, what do shepherds carry with them? A satchel and a staff. There we go. Those are the things that David picks up. Does that sound like a warrior? Does that sound like what you should go into battle with? No. Have any of you seen a picture of this sling that David's carrying, though? Like an actual picture of this real sling. Not the movie David, but like the real sling that David's carrying. From end to end, it's not a slingshot that we have that cheats and shoots off metal BBs. No, it's a 6-foot long string. Heavy braided string with a pouch inside of it that could carry a smooth stone that's the size of my fist. And that stone would wrap itself in there, and he would grab it, and it would make a 3-foot diameter. So as he's swinging it around, it's 3 foot going around and around and around. And when he lets go of one side, it whips out of that sling faster than what a slingshot will do, just based off the law of physics. See, it sounds to us like he's not carrying a weapon, but the reality is that he's carrying a far greater weapon than a sword. Because if I have a sword, I'm limited to how far I can reach with it. And David's going, man, I've defeated lions and bears with a sling because my God has provided strength to do it. I don't care that you come against me with a sword. I come against you in the name of God. I'm getting ahead of myself. Verse 41 to 51. 41 to 51. I got this one. Ready? Everyone's there? Verse 41 to 51. I'm going to try to not stutter and read too fast because I get excited. And the Philistine moved forward and came near David, and with his shield bearer in front of him, and with I got excited, sorry. And when the Philistine looked and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but a youth, a ruby and handsome in appearance. And the Philistine said to David, am I a dog that you come to me with sticks? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. And the Philistine said to David, come to me, and I will give you flesh, and I will give your flesh to the birds of the air and to the beasts of the field. Then David said to the Philistine, you come against me with sword and with spear and with javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. this day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you down and cut off your head. And I will give the dead bodies of the host of the Philistines this day to the birds of the air and to the wild beasts of the earth. And that all of the earth may know that there is a God in Israel, and that this is his assembly. And that all in this assembly may know that the Lord saves not with sword and spear, for this battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands. When the Philistine arose and came and drew near to meet David, David ran quickly towards the battle line to meet the Philistine. And David put his hand in his bag, and he took out a stone, and he slung it and struck the Philistine in his forehead. And the stone sank into his forehead, and he fell to the ground. So David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and with a stone, and he struck the Philistine and killed him. There was no sword in the hand of David. Then David ran, and he stood over the Philistine, and he took his sword and drew it out of its sheath, and he killed him and cut off his head with it. When the Philistines saw that their champion was dead, they fled. How many of you have read that far in children's story? How many of you knew that David cut off the head of Goliath? Right? Most stories don't go that far. So for those of you that do know it, good on you. Here's my question for you. How did David take a step in faith? How did David take a step in faith? We're going to stop there. Y'all talk in just a second. Shouldn't be too long of an answer, but I believe in y'all to come up with one. How did David take a step of faith? How did David take a step of faith? Step in, step of faith. You're good. Feel like we got an answer? How did David take a step of faith? What you got? By declaring his God was stronger than the giant. Absolutely, he took a step of faith in that one. What'd y'all come up with? Anyone get something different? One more time. He listened to God. Pretty easy, right? He knew that God would be with him the whole time. So he was able to step out against the Philistine because he knew God would be with him. That was a step in faith, is stepping into the battlefield, 100%. He went out without any armor. He took all the armor off. Step in faith, 100%. What'd y'all get?
Just like we said this time.
What did Tristan, what did Chisholm say?
Chisholm said that he took a step of faith by proclaiming before the battle was started that I'm going to be God.
Yeah. And he said verbatim what would happen. He said, I will strike you down and I will cut off your head. Prophecy. Declaring truth yet to come. Here's my question for you. For you to act in the faith against the Goliath in your life, what step is God telling you to take? For you to stand up against the Goliaths in your life, what step of faith is God asking you to take? This one is going to be a little more personal, not necessarily going to find that answer in the Bible. What do you feel like God is asking you to do in your life to take that next step of faith and follow Him? Now, talking to your group for a minute. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm calling on you first. So y'all can help her come up with a
I already know what I'm saying.
deal. You ready? Okay. What you got, Isla?
Cut out the people who push you away.
Cutting out the people that push you away from Jesus, right? That's a big step in faith. 100%. What you got, Ethan?
Reading the Bible.
Reading the Bible.
Yeah. Because I need to do that.
Because you need to do it more. So be specific. Like, I'm not telling you out loud, like, if it's something that you're genuinely wanting to grow in, and the same goes for, like, be specific. Not out loud, not right now, but like, in your prayer time, and in your quiet time. And if you don't have that, start a prayer time and a quiet time. Okay? You gonna make it? Be specific. Because if everything that we talk about stays really vague, then it's like, I want to pray more. It's like, well, that doesn't really mean a whole lot, right? Like, I want to carve out 15 minutes before I start my day and 15 minutes at the end of my day, and every time I go to the bathroom, I'm going to pray. That's really specific, right? That's really specific. And so I have something that I can measure and say, am I doing the things that I've set my goal? So if it's reading the Bible more, it's reading one chapter every day. Or whatever it is, be specific, is all I'm trying to say. Zoe, what do you got? Step in faith by leading your parents to Jesus. That's specific. How do you start with that?
I don't know.
You don't know? Well, if you need some ideas, talk about it. Like, come find me and we can talk about it, okay? Okay. I like that goal. What's a step in faith? Whoa. That's a gnarly hiccup. I hiccup so hard I puke. Like, that's how it's bad. You good? You need a drink of water or anything? Okay. Do you have an answer? something that you need to do to step out in faith?
And I was like, celery and cheese.
Pray more? I like it. In your prayer time, be specific. Set your goal so that you know whether or not you're meeting it. Deal? Okay. Paisley, what'd you get? Is this like a happy laughter, or is this like a trauma response laughter that's happening? Are you okay? Like, okay. Do you have an answer for this? Step in faith?
We've talked about it, but I don't know. We haven't thought of an answer because we understand the question, but we just can't think of an answer.
Okay. What do you feel like God is asking you to do right now? Like, what's something that you feel like He's asking you to do? Not sure. That's fair. Zoe, what you got?
Trying to read Psalms like you said on Sunday.
Doing the Psalm study, how we talked about it on Sunday? Have you done that with your family yet this week?
No.
Y'all haven't got to? Ask them to do it tonight when you get home. Do you need those things again, or do you have them?
I need what?
Like the questions? Do you need the questions again? You want them again? Okay. If you weren't here on Sunday, or if you need them from Sunday, I'll just say it right now. You have your journal? You want to write it down? I'll help you right now. Real life problem solving. You tell me when you're ready, and we'll come back, and I'll give it to you. Avery, what do you got?
I said like breaking off friendships or like relationships that like aren't leading me to good. Breaking off friendships or like relationships that aren't leading me to good and like a bad influence on me.
Yeah. Step of faith. Be specific in your prayer time with who that is. And for those of you that might feel a call to start maybe ending some friendships and relationships and everything like that, I would encourage you, like, I still talk to people that weren't a good influence on me when I was trying to start to walk with Jesus. I just cut out their influence in my life. So I quit letting them be people that, it's like, man, I'm going through a hard time. This is who I need. They weren't the people I talked to anymore. It started becoming people like my dad, becoming people like the pastor at the time, who I talked to him yesterday. You know, like when things get hard, we need to have people that can push us in the right direction, but that doesn't mean that we cut off maybe the people who aren't influencing us in the right direction. Not saying you continue to be their friend, but it's like, they need Jesus too, right? So love them like Jesus. Jesus didn't let the sinners influence how he lived his life, but he tried to influence how they lived theirs. But Jesus also didn't do that alone. Jesus took the disciples and ate with people. Jesus took people with him so that, one, there was record of it. Two, there's accountability. Like, it's far easier for two people to try to pick someone up than for one person to try to pick someone up, right? Baker, you're being distracting. Yeah, Baker, some people have red hair. It's okay. You can move on. You ready for them? Okay. So it's called Psalms Roulette. If you're looking for a Bible study tool, here's a really great Bible study tool. So if you said, I want to get in the Bible more and you don't know how, let me help you out. On Sunday morning, we're going through the book of Psalms as a church. Different chapters, different verses. Here's a really easy tool for you to get to go through the book of Psalms with your family, with some friends, or even by yourself. You can do this by yourself. I would encourage you to do it with other people, though. You're going to read 4 to 6 verses of any psalm. Y'all pick what psalm you're going to read. Read 4 to 6 verses of any psalm. So if you're in a group and you say, hey, we're going to read Psalm 23 today. We're going to read Psalm 23, verse 1 through 6 together. That's a great place to start. After you read those 4 to 6 verses, you're going to stop. And you're going to ask yourself 3 questions. Okay? Question number 1. What did this teach me about God? Question 1. What did this teach me about God? Question 2. Do you remember it, Madison?
How does it
the third question. Second question is, what did this teach me about how God sees me? Second question, what did this teach me about how God sees me?
Or what do I do now? So you use this thing.
How does this apply?
How does this apply? Or what do I do now? What changes? The third question. Ready for number 3, Zoe? How does this apply? What do I do with this? Or what changes? Those 3 questions all kind of get you to the same answer. Got it in your notes? Better? Been waiting on a text for a song for that. The second question, what does this teach me about how God sees me?
Zoe, if you went to Sunday school, you would already know it. Oh, what do you mean? I went to Sunday. Did you go
Sunday Bible study during the school year, we did this together. It's okay.
I don't know.
But you weren't at Sunday Bible study.
Yeah, you didn't go.
That's what she's saying. You
Oh,
should go to
yeah,
Sunday
yeah,
Bible
yeah.
study. It's okay, I forgive you. I won't hold it against you.
I will.
Question 1, what does this teach me about God? Question 2, what does this teach me about how God sees me? Question 3, what now? What changes? How does this apply? So in the story, here's my last question for group conversation. In the story of David versus Goliath, we talked about types, right? What is a type? What is a biblical type? We talked about it week 1, a little bit last week too. A biblical type. Does anyone remember? Let me see if I can refresh your memory. Golly, my phone's blowing up. This is a type. What is this a type of? What is this a type of? What? Family. More specific. What is this a type of? More specific.
Being together. I don't know.
Who? Nope. What is this a type of? More specific. Who is in this picture?
Family.
The Brandvik family. This is a type of Bradley, Emma, Bowen, and Baker. It's a picture of them. This isn't us. This is just a picture of us, right? So we talked about there being biblical types, meaning there are pictures of people in the Bible. Like the picture of David, or the type of David, is that he is a picture of Jesus to come, right? I gave you a little bit of a hint. Here's my question for you. In the story of David and Goliath, who are you in this story? Y'all talk in your group, see what you come up with. In the story of David and Goliath, who are you? You talk in your groups for a minute, see what you come up with. And yes, there is a right answer. But if you're wrong, we won't shame you. It's okay. It's a learning opportunity. In the story of David and Goliath, who are you and why? In the story of David and Goliath, who are you and why?
Son. Blessings.
That looks like someone who's got an answer. I said that looks like the face of someone who has an answer.
I don't know.
Do you have an answer? I get it. Okay? If your group has your answer, put your hand up.
Put your hands up.
If your group has an answer, put your hand up. Like your group.
Well, we did it individually.
What?
We did it individually.
Y'all did it individually? Did it line up together? Have you talked about it together? Do y'all have the same answer? No? Okay, so y'all talk about it, see what you can come up with. Okay, if your group has an answer, put your hand up. Y'all need another minute? Y'all have your hand up? Y'all have your hand up? Y'all need a minute? Need a minute? Need a minute? Madison, y'all need a minute? Or y'all good? Y'all good? Okay. Okay. Y'all are good?
We're almost there.
We're almost there. Y'all take 30 more seconds. Jake, do you have an answer?
Baker has an answer.
What? Yeah? In the story of David and Goliath, who are you and why? Oh,
Things of my own power and not relying on God.
Honesty right there.
that's a good answer.
I said I was one of the scared Israelites over in the corner.
You said Saul. Okay, ready? All right, Tim, what'd you come up with?
Come on, Telio.
I believe in you. What'd you come up with?
Goliath. We're Goliath.
We're Goliath. Why are we Goliath?
Because we're sinners in this world, and sometimes we're just like not acting like Jesus.
We're sinners in this world, and sometimes we don't act like Jesus. Do y'all agree with that?
Yes.
Hard to argue with that. Okay, let's hear some other groups. Laney, what'd y'all group come up with? Y'all said you were Goliath. Why? Because we sometimes think we're better than other people, even though we're not. But the why was similar?
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. Chisholm, what'd y'all come up with?
You said it was nice.
Be a bystander. Why?
Because based on the scenario of it, if we were to meet David, like if that happened, we had unwavering faith, like we second guess it all.
I like it. I like the answer. Austin, what'd y'all come up with? Oh, y'all were your own group? Okay, got it. Gabby, what'd you come up with? Now do you think about it what?
She said now that she thinks about it, she doesn't think it's a good answer.
What do you got? Let's just hear it. In the story of David and Goliath, who are you? Did y'all say David? Okay, who'd you say? A stone.
Interesting.
That's not necessarily a bad answer. Why are you a stone? You're not strong enough to fight, but God can use you? Is that kind of the train of logic we were tracking? What made you stay stone? Fair enough. Okay. What y'all gonna come up with?
He said Saul
Saul? Why?
because we can like talk the talk, but we can't like fight our own battles for that.
We talk the talk, but we don't fight our own battles. I like it. What y'all gonna come up with? You can be mad at her for bringing you to church later, but I believe in you. You can answer. In the story of David and Goliath, who are you? What do you think? Who? The scared soldiers? Why?
Because personally, it's my faith, and I'm trying to. So I think I'm still kind of scared to get like dive head straight into it. And have stronger conviction.
That's a phenomenal answer. That's a good answer. Don't be scared to share that. It's a good one. What y'all gonna come up with? Yeah, it's easier to give responsibility away. That's all. Not fight your own battles.
I do have a side thought. I did say I think that everyone has the ability, but it's not. But I think most of the time we don't.
Everyone has the ability to be David, but most of the time we're not David. It's fair. What y'all gonna come up with?
I'm not hearing what she said. Like it. Okay, we picked David because like we want to get closer to God and we're gonna fight for him. So like we aren't always David.
Yeah,
I don't know.
those are good answers. Here's the thing, individually, stories in the Bible can point to different seasons in your life, right? I want to tell you, there were a handful of you that were right. There are types in the Bible that definitively point to a specific event. And the story of David versus Goliath points to a future event that had yet not happened. Does anyone want to take a guess as to what David and Goliath gives us a picture of in the future? I'll give you a hint. It's right behind you. The cross. Who had to go on the cross?
Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior.
Who had to fight Goliath? What does Goliath represent? Sin. Goliath represents sin in this story. See, a really cool thing about this story that starts coming alive whenever you start to actually break down is like in the original text, every metric that they used to describe Goliath, every single metric in the original text starts with the 6. So what they would see isn't 6 cubits tall, 6,000 or 6 shekels, or 600 pounds. Like every number starts with a 6. So what they would see is 666. As Jewish people, they would be people of imagery. What does 666 represent?
The devil.
The devil. The power that the enemy has, the power of death. 666 represents the power of death. Numerically, it just does. This isn't a debate. I'm just telling you, that's what it represents. Jewish people would have seen 666 and said, this is a picture for the power of the devil. And the power of the devil is what? Sin. Temptation. He tries to tempt you. Who is it that had to conquer sin? Who is it that had to conquer sin? Who is it that had to conquer sin?
Jesus.
Right. So in the story of David versus Goliath, who are you?
Oh, Goliath. Stone.
You're in the middle.
You're not Saul, you're not David, you're not Goliath. You are a scared bystander. You're the Israelite army who cannot do it on your own. I really like the stone answer. That came way out of left. I was not expecting it. It's a really cool, creative answer. Here's the thing, though. There are moments in your life where God will use you to step up and be David. And he says, there is an unwinnable battle that people are facing, and you have to be the one to step up and do it, because God will move through you to do it. Right? But as a whole, I've heard pastors talk about the story of David and Goliath over and over and over again. You are not David. You are not Goliath. Praise Jesus, hallelujah, that you are not Goliath. You are the recipient of a reward that someone else fought. Israel was free from the power of the Philistines because David stood up and fought Goliath. You are free from the power of sin because Jesus stood up and fought. We get to walk in that freedom. Deal? Bow your heads. Father, we thank you for tonight, for the ability for us to gather in your name, in your house, and chase after your word, God. I pray that through each and every different time that we open this Bible, we would seek after you, Jesus. That it would be a relationship with you that would grow, that it would be our faith with you that would grow, God, and that our relationship would not be on shaky ground or found in this world, but it would just be found in the identity of son and daughter of the Most High King. We love you, we worship you, it's in your name we pray. Amen. What? A deal.
I was gonna say I have a question, but I don't have it.
That's not mine.
No, you can have it. I found it.
You should use it.
I already have
It's a
I have
Bible
like 5.
marker. Oh.